Hello, everybody. This is going to be a challenge that I'm doing for my Fundamental series that I believe is incredibly important for really any core player to be able to do, but especially carry players. This is an old challenge, I believe, that goes by the Cookie Challenge, which is to get 900 CS by 30 minutes in a lobby with no other players.
Banana slam jam.
So I think that general efficiency, when I've done a lot of replay analysis, is something that probably less than 2K players just lack significantly. And this is a drill that will especially help you guys. And honestly, it wouldn't even hurt if you're above 2K to kind of rehash the priority of just simply hitting as many creeps as possible. So we're going to do it ourselves. I'm going to do it for you guys. And I'm going to kind of speak through my mindset of what you can think about in these situations to make sure you're prioritizing getting the most CS. And the idea is that in a private lobby, I'm getting 900 CS. But what's happening is, in a real game, there's tons of obstacles along the way, most notably enemy heroes, and sometimes ally heroes that are stealing your farm. So it's not expected for you to get this many. But understanding how to do things in an optimal situation is very important because, you know what you're aiming for. You know that if you were allowed to do this, this is what you would do. So then you would learn that based on what enemies are doing or teammates are doing, where they're farming, how gankable you are, that's going to affect where you farm, how much you farm, what creeps you're going to get, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to be kind of narrating. I chose Luna because I think she's a simple flash farming hero that's really good for something like this because mechanically simple and straightforward speed of farming. Starting item wise, don't have to worry too much, but I'm going to prioritize CSing damage with realistic items. For the sake of things, I'm not going to buy tangos. It's more realistic for optimization. You know, in a regular game, I would definitely have to buy tangos. Probably buy a Wraith Band for a little bit of attack speed on a hero like Luna. We can go ahead and start the game. So the early game, you're simply just not strong enough to farm jungle camps. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you're only level 1, you don't have points and skills. But also, you have to consider that when you're farming jungle camps, you'll likely get contested by opponent heroes. So in a regular game, usually you'll start jungling on carries around level 5-ish with treads.
Yes.
But in a private lobby like this, where there's no opponents, I can absolutely just start jungling as soon as possible. And that's something that in a regular game, I'm always looking for. When I can start jungling as soon as possible. And the whole idea is I don't want to just dip into the jungle and forget about laning. I want to get every creep that I'm getting like I am now, 4 CS per wave, but also be able to get jungle creeps extra, So that's just accelerating our efficiency. In a regular game, I would take 1 point beam, but in a lobby, I'm obviously not going to. So because there's no opponent, we want to just start including jungle camps as soon as possible. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the big camp first because it's closer in proximity. We don't have time right now to leave lane and get lane creeps, right? So right now, we are setting up for a pull.
Yes.
Gonna make sure we don't miss any creeps over here if possible.
Let's go.
Probably gonna miss one. But we're gonna include this jungle camp super early. Make sure we tank. So we missed 1 lane creep, right? But we're going to get 2 jungle camp creeps in return. So it's a good trade-off. Want to kill this before the minute if possible. Something you can focus on at like 5 minutes.
Long has that tower stood against the rising tide.
What do you see?
But it's not going to work out this time, it looks like. But we want to make sure we get back in time to not miss these.
Yes.
And we suck. I did not want boots, actually. I wanted Glove of Haste, but I guess I just clicked. So now that there's no big camp, we're going to need to include the small camp if we want to get extra CS.
Fear the moon.
And this is probably the way you'd be thinking at
We ride
6 minutes into the game, right? Because that's about the time where, because there's an opponent, you'd be able to start incorporating jungle camps without getting absolutely ran over in lanes. So the simple idea of being allowed to push the wave and then go farm jungle is really simple efficiency thing in Dota. But what I've noticed with a lot of low MMR players is they could start doing this at 8 minutes, but they actually wait until like 11. So a lot of people aren't it's not like they don't understand this. They just
Yeah.
don't start it very early.
I'm
So
not
knowing
ready.
that you're supposed to be looking out for this is the most important part.
Stalking.
So in this case, I stacked because it was 245. So rather than prioritizing
Good
pulling,
plan.
I'm going to stack. I would ideally want to finish this in time to make it over to the pull
Absolutely.
to pull at 315. Looks like it may not happen here.
On the prowl.
Gonna be close.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna make it, so I'm gonna go back to the wave. As long as we're stacking the camps,
Stalking.
we're theoretically not missing them. But obviously we want to be hitting creeps as often as possible.
Let's go.
So having it where we
Fire the
win a
knife.
lot of time there without hitting creeps is gonna hurt our efficiency a bit.
They will find my blade. We ride.
So we can actually stack both these camps. It might have even been
enemy
worth
controls middle
considering a
tower.
point and beam. You can use Quelling Blade to cut down tree paths so that we can more efficiently stack.
Salamene
Gonna
command.
bring ourselves our treads. Ideally, I would have brought attack components of my
Yes.
treads to clear the wave faster, rather than buying the boots first like I did.
What do you
Using my
see?
courier earlier on, that would have just been better, but
For the
narrating and
cause.
playing at the same time is difficult. So notice how, as we gain levels, we're just clearing the wave faster. I mean, it's such a simple concept, but understanding that that's how it works is actually really important to efficiency.
Good
So
plan.
since I want to just make sure I'm weakening this camp over time, I'm just pulling it into
You
the
won't
wave.
forget.
Not actually worrying about killing it right now, but just knowing this is something you can do in a game. As long as the opponent's not going to yoink the creeps, it is worth trying to kill like one creep at a time, right? So this is the first time that I'm actually going to be able to make the small camp in time. Now that I have treads plus level 5.
Let's go.
So we're going to make the small camp pull.
It's not time. yet.
Early on in the game, generally, you want to use
Yeah.
lane creeps to your advantage so you don't have to tank the creeps, right? It simply saves you HP.
Into battle.
A lot of times, if you don't do this, you'll have to use mana to kill this kind of creep camp without dying. But we also want to kill it as fast as possible because we know we have a creep wave coming into our tower. So we're going to kill this as fast as we can
Illuminating.
and make it back in time for the
Quickly
wave.
now.
So we missed one creep in the wave just now, but we didn't. We obviously got way more jungle creeps than we missed lane creeps. So notice how under my tower, I hit creeps as often as possible. People a lot of times wait for the creeps to be low and then CS them, but every time that you're sitting in the creeps, not hitting them, is time wasted. So notice how I'm actually missing CS because I'm a nub.
Slice.
But it's really important that you push waves as fast as possible because this extra time that you have
pleasure.
is going to allow you to farm jungle camps. So even though the Morbid Mask is nice for sustain, actually a lot of people aren't even going to Morbid Mask now because it's
Quickly
got
now.
nerfed in the 7.32 patch. Would they
Death
go for the
approaches.
item that makes them hit creeps faster? Because that's what we're concerned about, right? Is making sure we hit creeps faster. So now we can actually pull these jungle creeps into our wave while we're farming the wave, which is absolutely something we can do. We have to make sure we kill the wave in time. And we're going to get the pull off. And every time we can get our lane creeps to help us in the early game, always a benefit. I feel like a lot of people I watch in replays, they underestimate how much lane creeps help them simply tank and clear the creeps, right? These creeps are doing damage, so they're making me farm faster. So we're including this. So notice how already by 6.5 minutes, we're like farming a triple stack. We're finishing the wave at 6:30. And now at about this point in the game, we're realizing that we clear camps so fast that it's no longer to our benefit to wait for a pull camp, right? A lot of people I see when they're at this stage in the game, they'll just wait. They'll wait to pull just like they did before. But now, since I didn't wait, I'm actually able to clear this camp before 7 minutes. And if you want to be optimal at all times, you should always make sure you come back for the creep wave, because we're not just jungling. You know, in certain games, you're obviously not going to be safe enough
Good
to go back to
plan.
lane, which is a big deal. But that's something where you should know that if you are safe enough, you should always go back to lane. Because in terms of time per golds acquired, lane creeps are very efficient, right?
Salamene command.
You also don't often have to tank any damage. Like, notice how I'm taking damage doing these creeps, right? I don't even think it's worth shoveling
ride.
because that takes time.
Unworthy.
So notice how I'm always like
Let's
looping
go.
back to the wave really quick when it's coming. So this will teach you to like get an idea of when lane creeps are coming. So if I had attacked there, I definitely would have missed some creeps.
The moon
So yeah, even though this is
smiles upon
unrealistic,
me. Yes.
I'm actually gonna TP mid because there's a big wave pushing in. This is something you can adjust to, you know, quick wave pushing in. You go and push it out.
By starlight.
I didn't know why that happened, really, in a private lobby where nothing's actually happening. But then we're going to make our way back bottom, or back to the jungle in general. As Luna, you always want to hit the high HP creeps because of the way glaives work. You know, on Agi heroes, a lot of times you do have to go for Yasha, or for Dragonlance, to make sure you have attack range and tankiness. But objectively, in terms of gold spent, Yasha is better for farm speed, because it's movement speed and attack speed, as long as we're not worried about our HP.
They will fear me. Let's go.
I'm going to take the talent that helps us farm faster. So there's going to be another wave coming. I actually should have brought myself another TP. That's definitely an oversight on my part. So I'm only hitting the tower because there's no jungle creeps to hit right now. And my next objective was lane creeps. So that's something you can definitely keep in mind, is that right now I'm only hitting the tower because it's 9 minutes. So now I'm going to go back to the jungle creeps with new ones freshly spawned. And now you have to ask yourself, with how fast you jungle farm, is it worth going back to that next wave in order to get the CS? Because the time it takes you to run all the way over there, it's going to cost you a lot more CS, right? So, like, walking that entire distance.
What do you see?
So, generally, you know, you'll prioritize lane a bit less as you jungle faster and faster. I can't imagine how many people are getting triggered at these bounty rings. So, whenever I'm jungling, I'm kind of just keeping an eye out at the lanes that I'm near. It's very important. So, because it's 9:45, I know there's a wave coming in the mid lane, and I don't think I'll make the Ancient stack. So, I'm just going to run my way to the mid wave. It's just all the jungle camps near me are gone. I'm going to make my way to a wave.
Yes.
Still didn't fly myself a TP. And now, I'm just going to go to the nearest jungle camps, right? So, I'm going to make my way to the enemy Ancients. It's actually really important I have a TP here. I'm super noob. So we're going to pull ourselves to the big creeps, because we want our glaives to be getting max value at all times.
On the prowl.
I failed a little bit there.
Yeah.
Honestly, triangle fucking sucks for this now. But notice how there's a wave conveniently next to me. You'll kind of get a vibe for what the waves are doing on the map. Like, you'll kind of meet them as you're jungling. Not worth staying there for a catapult. There's so many jungle creeps behind me. We're going to buy ourselves a windlace, because we're realizing we're walking around the map a lot. In some games, you're going to just run out of areas to farm. So, you know, it's not going to be really at forefront of your mind that you're needing to walk around a lot. But obviously in this drill, you know, you're going to be walking around a lot. In some games, you will be. So recognizing that you are walking around a lot and then buying like a casual windlace. I'm going to pick up these fucking bounty. They're tricking me. Yeah, it can be useful. Just recognizing, like, this is my primary limitation. I feel like I'm walking around a lot.
Let's go.
So in this case, the way I ended my minute was like right in the middle of this jungle. So I don't really want to clear all these jungle camps, because that's going to require me to like double back on my path, right? So I don't want to do that. If we can minimize time spent running through the same area that we've already run through, that's really important, because that's time spent not hitting creeps. So we're going to keep going.
The moon waxes.
And we're going to go back to the triangle, because we should finish the camps right around 12. And if we don't, we can just stack them. And main emphasis being we're always hitting creeps. So practicing checking lanes and stuff is really good during this drill, but it obviously doesn't actually help you clear creeps faster. So because it's so close to the minute, we're just going to wait.
I'm not ready.
The reason why I spent time picking up the other camp's aggro is also because Mask of Madness is on cooldown. So it's like, you know, it's just going to be faster if I hit these camps when Mask of Madness is up. So I go for Manta because that allows me to farm more of the map. I can send illusions at waves that my hero would not have farmed.
Let's go.
So now we can start incorporating more of the map in our farm. This is something that you'll start doing as any hero that's farming. You know, you're going to take over more and more of the map. You know, early game was just the lane. But now we're incorporating like 2 out of 3 lanes with enemy triangle, our own triangle. And so we're just going to go in the direction with the most creeps based on how much time we had. If it was like 12:52, I would have just walked to this camp and stacked it. But it was 12:44, so we don't want to spend 15 seconds clearing one camp. That's not efficient. I'm going to try to get a stack off. There's also a wave coming in conveniently. So we're going to go pick that up so we don't have to run out of our way to go get it.
Into battle.
And this is farm that we wouldn't have been able to get without Manta. Like, we don't want to walk our hero all the way over here. But we're going to get it now. So you can probably start by just sending Manta illusions down waves, but once you get better, you can have your hero like shift click to the next camp,
It's not
and then
time
micro
yet.
your illusions.
Stalking. Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
I should have just taken
Good
stats.
plan.
So notice how we're always walking to an area with creeps. You know, we're never doubling back.
One side
We're never
will regret
stuck
this.
with downtime.
Who
So what we can
dares?
do here to clear multiple waves is summon Manta and then TP top. Manta will clear mid wave, and then we will clear top wave with our hero. And if we can incorporate a stack into this, it's even better.
Let's go.
Perfect.
For
We're
the
gonna stack that
cause.
camp. We have our illusions clearing mid.
For Selemene.
And these are like absolutely considerations in real
It's not
games, as
time
long
yet.
as you're safe to do so. This is stuff you should be
On
doing.
the hunt.
So we want to use our Manta to clear another wave top.
By
So what we can do
starlight.
here is we can actually go clear this wave, right here. And then we can use Manta to get the next one, right? And so that's going to allow us to get a little bit more farm on the map. If we went back to our Ancients, we're only getting the Ancients. So Manta allows us to get that wave too. So we would prioritize this area, right? Because now that we're clearing so much of
Good
the map,
plan.
we want to get as much of it as we can. Pure damage is what we're going for.
Quickly now.
Oh my god. I'm not going to pick up any batteries. That's like completely unrealistic. Oh, I failed micro, guys. I failed micro. Busy talking. That's not good.
I'm not
So here we can run to this wave and Manta the
I'm
next
not
one.
ready.
So
Absolutely.
just do that real quick. And actually wait these illusions
Poor
in front of the
thing.
tower. Then we're going to try to start in a straight line,
On the hunt.
using Quelling Blade to make our paths shorter.
The enemy's
The
middle
hunt.
tower has fallen.
And we failed that too. That's because we suck,
Yeah.
chat. Or viewers on YouTube.
Stalking.
So more and more, making our way around the map. We can clear this wave with our actual hero, so we can send Manta illusions properly at the next one.
Far the night.
We don't want to have our illusions spend time on that catapult. Definitely not worth it. At one point, your illusions will be
On
strong
the
enough to
prowl.
actually tank tower hits. That's something that you can kind of adjust to. When they're strong enough to do so, you should have them tank the tower, because that means they're just hitting creeps more often.
Attack.
When they're not strong enough to do that, you should have them wait outside a tower. Because obviously if they're dead, then
By
they're not going to kill the
starlight.
creeps. So stacking both camps. Always super important to get this efficiency down.
A harvest moon.
So Mask of
Let's
Madness is
go.
on cooldown, and we want to get max value on glaives, so we drag the camps into each other.
The hunt.
Every hero has these type of efficiencies. We're going to send Manta at the wave we don't want to go to. Sell items
What
along
do
the
you
way. At least I tried to. Could maybe be using Pigpole a bit more often.
Light is upon
I still don't have a
loyal
TP.
warrior.
Man, it's actually hard to remember to buy
Yes.
TPs when you're talking to your chat. So just drawing our illusions closer to that because we can actually make it to this other
On
camp
the
in time. So
prowl.
notice how we like walked our illusions closer to the wave because we think we'll have time to do this camp too.
Yeah.
So there was no reason to get to this camp 1 second earlier, right? So it's okay to like do what we did there where we walked
Quickly
our
now.
illusions towards top.
Not yet. Absolutely.
Gonna pick the next wave mid, make sure we don't miss that.
Yes.
That item doesn't accelerate us, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
Approaches.
Probably just Boots of Travel if we're really looking to get extra
By
CS.
starlight.
You'll learn that
Your bottom
eventually map
tower
movements
is
will
under
hinder you. I'm actually going to change my auto attack setting because I
Follow the
keep
knight.
forgetting to reissue the attack command because I'm a nub.
I'm not.
We actually want to make it back to stack, so we're going to use Manta Illusions to clear this
attacks your
camp
bottom tower.
while we get back to these other
What do
two.
you see?
Notice how if we had stopped to farm that camp, we would have been late for this stack.
Look to
But
your
since our
bottom
illusions are
tower.
also strong enough, they'll be able to clear that
Where
wave.
will the line be drawn?
It's not time yet. On the hunt.
And you can get in the practice of sending things back to base. And we're just going to keep walking to the closest creeps. But once we get Boots of Travel in this type of spot, we'll just TP to waves. So we spend less time,
Lucent beam.
you know, not hitting creeps. And we have to no longer remember to buy TPs. So since bottom wave's kind of pushed into us out of all three waves,
Let's
we're going to,
go.
like, do the Manta thing mid. But then we're going to, like, work our way towards bottom. Because any waves that are pushed into us are going to be naturally safer.
New moon.
They're going to be naturally,
The night sees all.
closer to jungle creeps, especially if we're farming backwards. So see how there's a wave here. We're going to clear this camp and then make our way to the next wave is what we're going to do. Because these camps are worth more than that one wave.
Absolutely.
Here, and since we're on a fresh new minute, we're gonna send the Manta Illusions down, and we are going to start these camps right here. No need to TP anywhere.
Into battle.
The other town was probably better, but honestly, I'm probably never beaming anyway.
Let's go.
So the auto attack setting that I changed is that you can toggle auto attack. It's a setting in hotkeys where it makes it so your illusions and hero will just attack rather than so I can change it where in the laning stage my auto attack is not on, but later it is. So like this time it's a long walk to any creeps. This is pretty far, and I have boots of travel, so no reason to walk far anymore. Right? So I send Manta down mid. And no reason to go for the camp that's all the way over here because I'm just trying to maximize how many creep camps I get.
Yes.
If I can get this one before the minute, perfect.
We
I'm gonna send Manta Illusions backwards actually because there's more camps in front of me. Send them to the next camp.
Good plan.
And this is a perfect time because our TP just came up. So when you have boots of travel, you can kind of start to learn like how much of the area you're gonna clear, and then you just boots of travel somewhere else, right? So big limitation once you speed farm like this is just purely mobility. Obviously in a real game, once again, you won't necessarily be able to prioritize mobility over survivability. But if you're allowed to, it's very important to consider. Since our illusions are strong enough, we can actually split them up now. They should be able to individually clear a wave.
And cruel. Good plan. Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
So we want to clear this jungle, so we're going to use our Manta to get this jungle. We're leaving 3 camps behind. We're going to finish this jungle area off real quick. So we're going to shift Q those illusions, then we're going to TP to the lane that has creeps right in front of it. Also, it's going to like let us go through the enemy jungle as well.
You won't escape. I'm under attack.
Oops, spent time not attacking. Swift Blink, definitely the best for raw farming speed. We're actually running out of mana. So we need to, for the sake of this, we're just going to fly ourselves mangoes. Because that gives us mana faster. Sell our items along the way. Taking time to sell items is a big inefficiency that I see a lot of low MMR players do. So right now, since we farm so fast, we don't want to wait 4 seconds to farm those ancients. We want to run straight to something else. Because that travel time is very important. So we're going to Manta this down and TP top. No reason to send our hero somewhere that illusions can take.
Yes.
So we see that bottom lane's pushed in, so our TP's up for 17. In 17, excuse me. So we want to finish these camps off before the minute mark, and then we'll be TPing bottom, right?
Quickly now.
We're gonna finish them off since it's so close to the minute. Big wave bottom. We're kind of like eyeing where we're gonna TP, right?
Smile.
And then Manta down the wave here.
Yes.
We can actually use Manta to clear the jungle camp for us because the illusions do enough damage to clear the camp and go to the wave in time. This is just triggering me.
Yes.
And notice how we'll farm through this jungle and have a little bit of time left over,
Illuminating.
which is not ideal. But that's just because we're farming so fast.
On the hunt.
Honestly, a mana item's probably the best. We just want to never run out of mana.
Stalking.
So we're going to wait to summon Manta until we ran further up in the lane.
On
We can
the
send
prowl.
the other illusion bottom. I'm using tab to select one illusion at a time.
Quickly now.
The fucking runes are also triggering me, but we're going to TP back to here because we see the most creeps in a straight line. And we actually don't, in a normal game, I mean, it doesn't really matter here, but we probably wouldn't prioritize this. We would farm our own area first. Unless the opponent was like pushing high ground or something. So we're gonna actually use these to clear triangle because our hero's going towards bottom lane right now.
We ride.
Okay.
The enemy's
We're gonna start our minute as far up towards
Good
creeps as
plan.
possible. We're going to clear these.
For Night Silver.
We're gonna blink towards mid, because there's creeps right here. You'll notice as you advance closer to the enemy team's base, you'll be able to clear more creeps. We're gonna use our illusions to farm triangle, while going to the other lane ourselves. No reason to spend time hitting that catapult for how long it takes to clear one creep. No reason to go to this camp, since we'll be doubling back. Probably could have gotten this camp too if we were better about the micro. And we're coming close to the 30-minute mark, right? We're coming close. This also helps you get in the habit of sending your courier to the secret shop every time you're farming. A lot of people spend random time not using their courier. So like when I'm close to an item, I'm going to send my courier to the secret shop.
I'm not ready.
So notice how my TP just came up. Perfect timing. Go to a wave. Start the minute mark near a new camp as well. I'm going to send my Manta here and then one illusion mid. Gonna bring ourselves our Moon Shard. No reason to spend any time with our actual hero doing any of this.
We ride.
If there's something that an illusion or a courier can do for you, why would you do it with your real hero? I feel like that's a priority a lot of people do not have.
For Dark Moon.
Go ahead and eat the Moon Shard. So TP's up in 6 seconds. Honestly, this is something I just have a really good feel for playing a lot of Dota. But ending your farming patterns like this, where there's no creeps nearby, and then having your TP available, is definitely something you get a feel for. It's not a coincidence that I keep like ending my farming pattern when my TP's available. Send that there, and then send maybe one down here.
Illuminating. Weakling. Good plan.
Want to make sure we stack both these camps, if possible.
Quickly now. Let's go.
I didn't stack that one, GG.
Who dares?
So I haven't used Manta in a while. I'm now going to use it to go to the top.
The night sees all.
So many bounty runs.
Salamene commands. Come, Nova.
Same thing here. And you're just seeing that we're prioritizing doing more and more over time, right? In this case, we're actually going to use our courier to pick up a neutral item. We're going to use our Manta illusions from right here. One's going to go mid, one's going to go bottom. It's 13 seconds to clear jungle camp, so we're going to try to end ourselves at one side of the jungle, so we have a straight line camp, or straight line farm for next minute. So notice how we farmed a perfect amount of camps to end up at an end camp, right? One of the camps that ends the jungle. So having like developing a sense of like how much time you have on the minute to farm is really important. Very improperly done, I would say. Gonna send these here, TP mid because there's a wave there, and then these illusions are also gonna go to bottom wave. And we're just gonna kind of see what we get by 30, right? We said the goal of the challenge is 900 CS by 30 minutes.
Quickly now. For Salamene.
Maybe even Octarine Core would have been better. Just to have lower Manta cooldown.
Illuminating.
Gotta make sure I run back to the Ancients. I can't afford to, like, wait for my illusions to be, you know, up.
Yeah. A harvest moon.
Get the stack off.
Stalking.
TPing real quick on a freshly spawned wave. Probably Daedalus if I was really trying to max farm. So based on time of when the waves are going to spawn, I'm going to send one top and one mid. If it was like closer to being spawning where I thought my top illusion would miss the wave, notice how it got there like right in time.
Yes.
You know, I would have sent it to a different camp. Or a different wave.
Try to run.
And we're coming up on the last 20 seconds. We did hit the 900 CS.
Absolutely. Heads up.
And we're going to try to min-max here for the last 5 seconds. It's our final count. Final count, we subtract that last one, was 930. So, yeah. The goal of this video is it's getting put in the fundamentals course. And the idea is all of these little things that go into farming. And I feel like a lot of viewers, a lot of people who ask questions, they ask, hey, I'm 2K MMR and I feel like my timings are just worse than the streamers that I'm watching. And a lot of efficient farming is just simply doing all of these little things and considering these little things that I told you guys throughout the course of me doing this 30-minute run. There were definitely some missed micros from illusions on my part. I think if I had played this flawlessly, I'd probably got like 950 or 960. Maybe a different item build would optimize this out. I mean, at the end of the day, even just learning what items are going to help you farm faster is going to be really helpful. At one point in the game, for instance, I noticed I was having mana issues. Maybe I could have just flown myself 6 mangoes, but in an actual game, I'm probably more likely to buy a mana item, like Scotty or Lincoln's or Bloodthorn. But having an awareness of what is required for you to farm, so like in this case, sending Manta Illusions and running out of mana, and supplementing that is really important. Lack of mobility, lack of damage. You got to make sure you have sufficient everything, right? So many little things to consider. I hope this helps you guys. I highly encourage that if you can't make 900 by 30 minutes, that you should just do this maybe once a week. Or you can binge it if you want. Maybe you really, really enjoy optimizing stuff like this. I think Lune is a great hero to start with. I think there's a lot of heroes that you could do this with, but it's just a great thing to make sure you guys optimize. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye.